Hi there, gorgeous, and a very happy Drugstore December to you. If you've not heard, every video coming out for the entire month is drugstore or affordable themed, and I'm also publishing 5 videos a week. So if you'd like to be notified of new content all month long, please subscribe, and thank you if you do. In today's video, I'm sharing my most used makeup products from the drugstore in a full face look. This was hard to narrow down, and I will just tell you that there will be other favorite kind of videos coming out throughout the month in different presentation styles. This is just the first of many. There were so many amazing makeup finds from this year that I found, and I'm just anxious to share with you as a end of the year roundup. So I hope that you will enjoy today's tutorial. I almost got through that intro. Anyway, enjoy and enjoy. Before this tutorial, we're going to start with some skincare products, my most favorite, most used ones for this past year. The first one being the e.l.f. Illuminating Eye Cream. Amazing stuff. It's such a lightweight cream that performs so well underneath makeup. It absorbs into your skin so fast, it dries fast, and you really don't need much when you are using it. And then for the face, I've been using the e.l.f. Holy Hydration Face Cream. I love that stuff, but it's in my bathroom. I really don't feel like going into the house right now. You know, I film in the garage and disturbing the kids because, yeah, if you work from home, then you get how it can be. So I'm gonna use what I have here. Another one that I have really been loving this past year, kind of rediscovered it this past year, was the e.l.f. Daily Hydration Moisturizer. This was such a favorite of mine when it first came out. Still love it. It's, again, very lightweight, sinks right in, plays beautifully underneath makeup. For my eyeshadow primer, I'm using one that I don't think I've talked about on camera before, but I love it. It's become my new favorite for this year, and that is the Alter Ego eyeshadow base. This is produced by Alter Ego Cosmetics. I'm sure you're familiar with their eyeshadow palettes. Great primer. And so you can see the consistency of it there. You really don't need much, even though I applied a little bit too much. It's okay, it's okay. I just wanted you to see the consistency of it, but it's transparent and does a great job of locking your eyeshadow in place, helping it to last all day. Love it. The 2 drugstore eyeshadow palettes, we'll call them palettes, that I was most drawn to for this past year, the ones that I found myself picking up over and over again, was the one from e.l.f., the Bite Size Eyeshadow Palette in the shade Truffles. Love the consistency, the formula, how compact these are, the shade range in here. That's why it was one of my most favorites this past year. And the other one was Maybelline's Forest Green Eyeshadow Single. Incredibly pigmented, and it is one of the best green eyeshadows I have ever used from the drugstore. So I am going to combine those 2 palettes up today, and we'll do a little bit of a darker look with this. I think. So the way that I will apply it is I'll take some of the green, and you really don't need much of the Maybelline eyeshadow. I don't know if I'll ever wear a dent in it because it is so pigmented, and you don't need much when you are using it, that it's gonna last me a long time. And I'm only going to apply this on the inner half of the lid. So we'll bring it in just enough. Seriously, one of the most beautiful greens. If you have brown eyes, oh my gosh, you have to try this shade. It's just, I have blue eyes, and I mean, it's amazing how greens really help my eyes pop. So can you imagine what it would do for you who have brown eyes? Ah! By the way, in a video recently, I had on a teal eyeshadow, and there were so many people asking for a tutorial on that look. So I wanted to talk briefly about what I had on and how you could recreate that, because if you use the same steps that I'm showing you here with substituting a teal eyeshadow, you would get a very similar look to what I was wearing in that video. So in that video, I was wearing MAC's teal pigment, and you can see what it actually looks like up close there. Now, if you're looking for a drugstore dupe of this shade, I have one for you. It's from a limited edition palette, but you can still get this on Amazon. Wet n Wild had one palette they released a couple years ago called Hasta La Costa Baby. That teal right there is another one that I will quite often use all over the lid. And hopefully you can see they are identical between the two. They look exactly the same when you put them on the eyes, and it's a great substitute for MAC's teal pigment. Usually I would go in with the darker brown from the Truffles palette right there and apply it to the outer third of the lid and then up into the outer V, but I think I want to go a little bit darker with this look. So I'm going to take the black at the end of the palette. It's not to say that you can't use the deep brown, you absolutely can. I will apply that to the outer corner. And whoa, Nelly, I will have to do some cleanup there, but it's okay. We'll work with it for right now. I'm going to take this brush from Shop Miss A. This is AOA Studio E128, and pardon my brushes. It's brush washing day here, so we are dirty. I'm going to take that dark brown from the palette, and I'm applying that directly into the crease. Changing my brush to Sedona Lace's EB09, I'm going in with the light brown from the palette, and I'm using that to blend out the edges of the crease towards the brow bone. So the dark brown was more or less a transition between the top crease color and that black and the green lid color. If you are pale like me and you want to lighten this look up a little bit, omit the black completely. I sometimes like to create dark looks simply because I understand that not everybody has my same complexion, and if you are darker than me, a look like this is fantastic against medium and dark complexions. So try to keep it fresh and change things up every now and then. I'm taking my blending shade here, Wet n Wild Brulee, and I am blending on the outer edges to help diffuse some of the harshness. I may need to go back and clean this up with a makeup remover wipe. Next product I have to share with you is from JOAH. This is the Line Up Liquid Eyeliner, and the shade that I'm showing you here is in brown. Not only was this my favorite this year, this was Gia's favorite too. Every time she would come into my studio, every time, I don't know what it was, it may be the pink packaging on it. She would open my drawer, pull this out, and I always have notes on my desk for videos I'm filming, ideas I have, etc. So she would just draw all over my notes, my ideas, and yeah, so I always knew when Gia was here. But anyway, it's a great pen because, like she found out, it's very pigmented. It's so easy to use. It has a great fine tip to it. So if you want to make a very sharp wing with it, it's amazing for that. It's been a go-to of mine since I discovered it. And I discovered it late this year, so I haven't been using it that long, but oh, I love it. For as much as Gia has used it, and I have used it so far, it has not dried out. It hasn't lost performance. It's wonderful. Gia is always very gentle with my makeup products when she's playing with them. I've noticed that about her, where she will be very easy, delicate with them, whereas Jet, he just takes an eyeshadow brush and right into the palette, breaks the eyeshadow all apart. It's great. For the brows, there were two pencils that I found myself using interchangeably this past year the most out of everything that I have here. One was a new discovery, one was a little bit of an older discovery, but I just started picking it up more and more this year. And that one is the Maybelline Brow Ultra Slim pencil. Shade that I'm showing you here is soft brown, and this is an older one that I discovered, I want to say maybe a year, longer than a year ago, and just started using it more and more. This next one is Soap & Glory's Archery Brow Precision Pencil, and this is the one that I recently discovered this year and fell in love with. And this one is in the shade brown. I'm going to use the Soap & Glory Archery one since that was the one that I discovered this past year and came to really, really love, not only from a quality standpoint, but color also. It's not too brown. I feel like it's got the ability to look like it's made for those of us with red hair, but it's one of those that's like interchangeable. It could be for brunettes, it could be for redheads. It's a transformative kind of shade. The one mascara that I found myself using over and over and over this past year was also a new discovery, and it became one that I wore even without falsies because it's that great. And this is from L'Oreal. It's the Air Volume Mega Mascara. It's a very thick formula. It's not like the Lash Paradise, but it is thicker. and it's a drier formula than Lash Paradise. It doesn't take as long to dry down, but it adds such great volume to the lashes. You won't be able to tell as I'm applying it right now, unfortunately, because I feel like the eyeshadow clouds it. I'm gonna try to show you what this does. I'm not going to spend a lot of time applying it, and I really didn't pay that much attention to curling my lashes here today because I'm going to be applying falsies next, but hopefully you can see the difference there from one eye to the next when I look down. And when you do take the time to really curl your lashes with this formula and make an effort with them, oh my gosh, it's amazing. For my lashes today, I'm applying a pair from my lash line called Unapologetic. I know you saw me wear these over and over and over and over these past year. I love them because they flare out at the edges. They have just enough length in the center of the lash without being too overpowering for a look. I feel like it's just the right complement to the eyes. I have received some questions from a lot of people asking if we are going to be adding new styles, and we absolutely are. There are 2 that I'm going to release in January, and then I'm hoping to have some more by the March, April, May area of next year. It's just been really difficult this past year to, you get it. So yeah, hopefully 2021 will have more styles, more offerings. There are some styles that were sold out that I'm hoping to restock in the new year also. So just thank you so much for being patient with me through this. We'll get through it. The next product I have to share with you is Pixie's H2O Skin Tint. This is another one I discovered this past year. Love this stuff. Oh, it's the most beautiful tinted moisturizer. There's not much to it when you apply it. If you're looking for really light coverage and a product that will last all day and it won't move around on you, this is a great one. It's a little higher in price compared to most drugstore products. I mean, I'll be honest with you, when I first saw the price tag on it, it's $24. I was like, what in the world? But it's really great, and it's lasted me all year. I'm close to using it up. Some of the other ones I really enjoyed this past year too, because you know I can only use one for this video, is the NYX Bear With Me Tinted Skin Veil. This is another great one that's very lightweight, looks beautiful on the skin. The Maybelline Dream BB Fresh Beauty Balm was another great one. And then for my concealer, I'm using the No. 7 Lift and Luminate Serum Concealer. What I love about this one is that it's great underneath the eyes, but it's also excellent for concealing things around the face. It's not really meant to be used for under the eyes, even though it does a really beautiful job underneath the eyes, but it's more or less for acne, blemishes, skin imperfections, that type of thing. But it's just a great all over kind of product that I really gravitated to this year. One of the powders I've been trying to use up this year, and I've been very, very successful at doing so, is the Covergirl Clean Matte Powder. I've had this one for so long, but I only recently decided I'm gonna use this one up, so I almost have. So we're gonna put more dents into it right here, and I'll go ahead and set my face. One thing I started doing this past year too, when I apply my powder, is I'm doing a very light dusting as opposed to packing it on. And I'm only doing the T-zone really. I've started to stay away from the cheek area a little bit more, and instead what I'll do is just a very light sweep like that to help set everything, but I don't pack it on top of that area anymore. And for my contour, I'm using Maybelline's City Bronzer and Contour Powder. This is in the shade 100. I discovered this one in January of this past year when I was seeking out cool toned contour kind of products, and it became one that I picked up all the time, and I just love how it applies, how it wears, the color that it gives. I'm a little heavy-handed with it, but it's okay. Just blend. And sometimes that's all I apply. That's it. And I just skip everything else. But more often than not, I try to apply a blush to give some color to my face because I have such a pale complexion that I do have to have some color in there somewhere. And one of the products that I've been using this past year over and over and over again is one that I've actually never talked about on camera. And I was really surprised I've never shared it with you before. This was sent to me as part of PR. It's from a brand, excuse me, called Found. It's their Baked Illuminating Blush in the shade 60. It's called Peach Glow. This is a Walmart brand, which, where have I been? I started using this out of everything that they sent me. It was the most impressive product, and it became my go-to for like all my looks this past year. It's not the most pigmented blush you'll ever use. You do have to apply a little bit more than normal. But what I love about it is not only the color, it's got a subtle highlight built into it. And it is just beautiful, and it lasts all day. It's not going to fade on you. You can see what I mean. It's not the most pigmented blush you'll ever use from the drugstore, but it's subtle, and it's got a really pretty color to it and a gorgeous highlight. I've not been applying anything under my eyes because I feel like it makes my eyes look brighter and more awake, so I'm going to keep that area completely clean. It makes such a difference. That's another thing I discovered this past year. For my lips, there are 3 lip products that I have used interchangeably. Interchangeably? Yes, that's how you say it. I don't know where my head is. Anyway, 3 that I have been using throughout the past year, and I feel like I've been more drawn to more of the dusty mauve rose type shades, the ones that look more lip-like. I know a lot of people don't like it when I wear the really nude lipsticks, and I understand that. So I tried to venture out and do some new things. So the one that I really love is from NYX. This is called Boardwalk, and I'll swatch it here so you can see what it looks like. It's a perfect neutral, and it goes great with so many different eyeshadow looks. The other one that I've really been loving is from another one from NYX. This is the one called Root Beer Float. You can see compared to the first one, a little darker by comparison, but it's so beautiful. And then the third one is e.l.f.'s Blushing Rose Liquid Lipstick. This one will not move or transfer on you. It is a matte finish. That's it right there. So I'm thinking for this look today, honestly, I'm thinking I want to use the more peach one, NYX's Boardwalk, simply because the eyes are so dark and they're green. I didn't wear setting spray much this year, but when I did, my go-to favorite that I was using over and over consistently was the one from Rimmel, and that's the Stay Matte Fix and Go. This is also one that you can apply before your makeup application, and it does help to keep everything in place. So I will go ahead and apply that. And by the way, I get asked all the time what this brush is when I use it with my setting spray. It's become my favorite one to use with setting spray. This is an old Wet n Wild one from the Pac-Man collection. I don't remember when the Pac-Man collection came out, but this is, it's the perfect, like, fluffy tip for applying setting spray. We'll just apply that over the top of everything, even though I'm getting ready to go ahead and wash this makeup off so I can do another video. But you don't know that. Yeah, I have to film like 3 videos today, so. So those are all my favorites from 2020 that I used the most from the drugstore. Let me know what some of your favorites were. Which ones were you picking up over and over again? Or if you made repurchases, share those also. If you're interested in any of the products I used to create today's look, all of them will be listed and linked for you below in the description box. Thank you so much for being here, for taking the time to watch. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow for another video in Drugstore December.